What's up? This is Adam Pasi. And today I'm across the street with Jim Bonus Beats.
Thing to a famous Simone is Bruno Mars. That's a Filipino Michael Jackson impersonator. Who cares how they taste? You can't just eat a couple to back me up, because I'd do it for you. Yeah, if they made a sucky Norwegian cookie, I'd choke my way through 2 or 3 of those. That's a lie. That's a lie, because they make that cookie, it's the shortbread cookie. I don't touch that trash. That's a junk cookie. Shortbread is garbage. It's not even a cookie. That's a sweet cracker that these little beret-wearing swindlers have been tricking you people with all these years.
What is good? I'm here today with Adam Pasi, Portland's funniest comedian. How are you, sir?
Third funniest in 2016.
Third, I love the shirt that you wore. What was that?
Not Portland's funniest.
That was great. That was one of the first things I ran across.
My friend Rowdy made that for me. She probably biggest support. My first album's gonna be named after her. But every year I did the contest, she made a shirt that she wore supporting me. And then when I finally won it was my turn to host the final. She was like, hey, here's one because you got to pass this shit on. And so I love that shirt probably
That's a
more
great
than
shirt,
any of them.
yeah. If you do watch the show enough, I do bring everybody a gift.
Fantastic.
I got a chance to watch a lot of your comedy, of course, and I love your cookie bit. So like I said earlier before we started, I like to introduce Ma Jude's famous chocolate chip cookies into the race. You may want to check those out at some point. Those are pretty good.
We'll get at these at the end because if they're good, I'm just gonna. That'll be the interview. You're gonna watch me run to the Plaid across the street for milk. I got you a gift too, though.
Oh, word! What'd you get?
Socks.
Oh, who doesn't love socks, bro? That's a real man's gift right there. Let me tell you.
Let the price tag on it because I figured it wasn't leaving much to the imagination. How much did he spend on these Hanes socks? No, I just had to run to Ross to get a USB-C cable. Also, I thought it'd be funny to give you that because I saw someone give you an Oculus. So.
And then now I get socks.
So there's a spectrum to this.
This is great.
Now I'm going to take the Oculus pressure off of every other guest. All you have to do is beat socks now. You're welcome.
You're from Portland originally. Let's catch up, everybody else, I guess, on your backstory here. How'd you get to Portland? What's this all about?
My dad was in the Army. I was born in Tacoma, and I grew up mostly the East Coast in Germany. But my grandparents, this is like my ancestral home where we're at right now. They're here in Gresham, so wherever I lived, Portland was the one constant in my life. And so when it was time to be on my own, just moved here. It's the closest thing to a hometown I had. I've been here since 2000 now. So.
2000. That's quite a bit of time then. Yeah. Great comedian, of course. You're super funny.
Thank you.
I'm as a writer myself. I'm kind of curious always how comedians. How do you guys start? Like I know like the first joke or the first line is so important. Is that something you put a lot of pressure on yourself when you're writing?
What do you mean, like start like the beginning of the set?
The beginning of a set. Like how do you even like?
I like to have something quick. In fact, the longer my sets go, the more storytelling I'm willing to be. But like in a 10-minute set, I just want snaps, pop, 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 pop. Because then like when it gets longer, then like when you have people's trust, so like when I do like a 45-minute set, I can do like storytelling type shit. But
I watched the 1 hour special that you did, the longer video there.
I only put that out because of quarantine.
That was good.
I'm as happy with it as I could be, but that's gonna go away soon.
Cool. I'm glad I got to watch it.
Yeah. When quarantine hit, I comedy went away, and I was just like, well, I need people to hear my jokes somehow. So I was like, all right, you can have these. I'm real stingy with what I put out. You'll notice I don't have a lot of content, and the content that's out is really just stuff that about half of it's just stuff that I put out because of quarantine.
It's good though. I mean, like it's captivating and like it made me want to watch more. I kept watching every other, you know what I mean? Boom, boom, boom.
I appreciate that.
No, it's true though.
Also, it'll do for now.
Have you been on a big stage yet, Adam? Have you had a chance? I mean, as talented as you are, have you had that moment yet?
No. I'm actually trying to get a tape to send in to apply as an audition for a late night show. Because a friend of mine has it in there. And I got a manager, and she's always trying to get me on stuff. I've made her zero money yet, though. Shout out to Nat Goldberg for sticking with me.
I think it's called a friend, not a manager, right?
Pretty much at this point, yeah. Yeah, I got to earn manager from her. But yeah, mostly I've just been grinding here in the Northwest. I started in 2012. And
Oh, wow, so you're fairly new to it.
pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What got you started then? Is there a person or a experience that kind of like opened your mind to the whole comedy thing, or?
I just always wanted to do it, and then I just finally got off my ass about it at 32. You know, the ripe young age of 32. But yeah, I just looked online for open mics, and I did a couple sets at Music Mics because I had the misconception that I had to get good enough to do comedy at a comedy open mic, which, having seen all the shit I've seen at comedy open mics over the years, is clearly not the case. But
I asked Zane the same question. You're friends with Zane Thomas, by the way.
I am,
He gave
yeah.
you a shout out in his episode there twice, actually.
yeah, the part Zane left out of his story about him getting that $100 tip was, it's a positive, but like by like his fourth pun joke, of which he has many, the audience booed that turned into an applause. It's one of my favorite responses I've ever. I want that response someday.
Someday.
Because they're like, oh, all right, you son of a bitch. Yeah.
Lovable Zane.
Yeah.
And how did you guys meet?
Just comedy. I mean, if comedy's happening in Portland, I'm gonna be there at some point.
Right.
Open mics, I do as many shows as I can. I'm out most nights.
Wednesday, why don't you tell us about that Wednesday event you're saying? Yeah.
Oh yeah, every Wednesday, Mississippi Pizza, me, Sir Lanceword, Edward, Jake Silverman, Thomas Lundy. We run the best show in town. I can say that unabashedly, no ego.
Woo! Nice.
Yeah, no, it's dope. It's called Dope. 8 p.m. every week. Bring tip money. And a Vax card.
Mississippi Pizza. Yeah. We did a show there at the Atlantis Lounge with the Figure 8 and the Antelope Fishermen not too long ago. We had a good time there.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great venue.
That's a good spot. I always had good experiences with the bartenders there, too.
Yeah.
Shout out to every bartender involved with comedy. They are the lifeblood of this industry.
Are you out of the days, Adam, of doing events for drink tickets? You get paid now?
For the most part, but I'm not above it. My thing is, if you're going home broke, I'll go home broke with you and do your show. Because people did that for me when I was brand new running shows.
Yo, that's strong.
Yeah, so like, but no, if like you have 10 performers on and we got drink tickets and you brought home $400, you're a piece of shit.
Facts.
But we can have a broke show together and I'll go home broke with you.
That's
just
dope.
in the name of doing comedy.
That's
I'm down
dope.
for that.
Oh man. Where do you find this inspiration to write? I mean, to find the time, number one. Are you storing away little nuggets here and there and then coming back to it, or?
Yeah, I have a very active brain, which don't mistake that for intelligence, but it's always doing something. My idle brain usually is just fucking with jokes, period. And then anything that happens, especially now after all these years of trying to come up with stuff, whenever something happens that might be joke-worthy, I'll store it and then mess with it.
Do you find that to be a long process? Of like I know, I mean, for as much work as you put in writing all this stuff, is it hard to compress everything that you've written into these little punchlines that you like so quickly?
I mean, yeah, that's the process of it, though. Like, it starts big. So when I have something, it starts big, and I try to make sure every possible detail is in it. And then as I'm doing it, I figure out what's necessary. Like, so there'll just be unnecessary details. Like, if it's a story about when I went to the store, who gives a shit about which socks I had on, right? So that won't make, so like anything that's not integral, anything that's not set up for punchline is in the way of my laughs. And I want as many laughs as I can on stage. But it starts big, and then I just start shaving it away, and then if I find something I can expand or connect to something, which is one of my favorite things, like over the years I'll have like a dumb joke. It actually just happened with the Jason Momoa, Lisa Bonet breakup. I found a way to tie it to this old Mary Kay Letourneau joke I've had for a long time. And but it's stuff like that. So like whatever there's twists and turns, it starts big. I chop it down as small as I can get it, so that there's less space between the punchlines. Yeah.
Did you really get hit by a car?
I did. I was on the way to an open mic when that happened, and it's one of the most exhilarating sets I've ever performed. It was the open mic was at my father's place, and I was down on Stark and is that Grand? That other side?
It's okay, yeah.
I've been here 20 years.
I still travel with my GPS on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got hit by a car into the puddle. I just showed up in a wet shirt and was just screaming like, I feel so alive. But yeah, I think it was because I had a backpack on full of stuff, so it hit me in a backpack and I landed on my also amply packed Life front pack. And so that cushioned the impact, and so I was fine, and those people were legit scared shitless when I checked on them. And I went and I was like, hey, y'all just hit me, I'm fine, and that was completely my fault. And they were just like, I'm gonna go, you're good though, you can go if you want to.
I like the little punchline he threw in there about the skinny people bundling up together with the stick system.
That's for you, my friend.
Hey.
That's for you. Get you the skinnies.
Slim Jones. What's Boski doing? This guy. We bring friends along sometimes. We brought Broski today. I don't think he's aware of what's going on right now.
I'm actually, these trees are new. I haven't been back this far in the yard in a while.
Are you a trampoline fan? I noticed the trampoline looks like it gets a lot of use.
I am well past that trampoline's weight limit. Very much so. It is for my niece. My brothers have, my brother that lives here has one child, and my brother in Bremerton has 8 kids, so that trampoline sees action.
What was your joke? I love that joke. Married to a Mormon wife.
Mormon lady, semi-automatic reproductive organs. Shout out to my sister-in-law, Katie.
Big ups, Katie.
I kept that as clinical as I could so I could be comfortable saying those words out loud on stage.
The cookies, of course, was one of my favorite. Well, I love your take on Thin Mints, of course. What kind of psychopath doesn't freeze their Thin Mints?
So she's heard the joke, and she goes, I asked my brother about that, and he doesn't put them in the freezer either. And I'm like, yeah, baby, your family's fucked up. Something happened with you guys and cookies at some point, and now here you are eating lukewarm Thin Mints, which is unfortunate.
What kind of work do you do? Do you have a 9-to-5 or?
Yeah, I'm a cashier at a fancy local grocery chain.
Ooh,
that purports itself to be friendly.
You must get a handful of comical moments at any given moment during that day, right?
Yeah. My current favorite is about, actually the joke I'm gonna try and submit to late night. It's about a customer who came in angrily yelling that he came in to buy shallots, and then he pointed to the bag that he purchased, and y'all just gave me tiny onions. Yeah, that's it in of itself.
I got it, yeah. Oh, that's great. Sharista Tyree, fellow comedian.
I'm very familiar with Sharista.
She worked at one of the pet care centers there for a while, one of them for a while.
Ooh.
And she said she got a handful of...
So I work at, like I said, like a fancy grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I think a pet store will have the same thing because it's extra. It's extra, so, you're going to get a certain class of pertinence. Karens. It's Karens.
White
Karen
pet owners
businesses
are pretty outrageous in themselves, I would imagine. Yeah.
No. Yeah, very much so. I don't envy anyone that works in a nice pet store. In fact, there's a mud bay right next to my work, and they come in looking like, I'm like, yeah, bro, rough day, huh?
Oh.
Although I used to work the deli, and when you cut roast beef, because of the blood, that's not really blood. What's perceived as being blood on it, they make us clean it after every roast beef cut. And so this girl used to come in always towards the end of my shift, and I'd have to cut a new thing of roast beef, have to clean the whole slicer just before I was about to get off. And one time she goes, oh, my dog's gonna love this. And I was like, are you fucking...
Like $9 a pound.
Your dog doesn't care, lady. I don't have to cut it fresh.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so shout out to that dog.
Eating better than me.
Living good.
Well, we ripped through about 15 minutes here pretty quick. You want to give us some special love, PSA, shout-outs on the way out of here before we wrap this up?
The Doe Gang, pretty much all of Portland comedy. You go to laughspdx.com. It's got a list of every show and open mic in Portland.
I'll add that link down below for everybody.
And almost everyone I talk to after shows say, I've always thought of doing comedy. So they're the open mic list right there. You got all the list of all the shows. Most of them are good. Hit me on Instagram if you want to know which ones are. And
we'll add your Instagram link below as well. I'm going to add your YouTube link as well so you guys can check out some of the stuff that he does there. Super funny, well worth the watch.
Yeah.
How does it take about booking? Someone just get a hold of you through Instagram there for booking?
Yeah, hit me on Instagram for booking. Shout out to Zane. Listen to Zane's album. Actually, I called Zane on his birthday. And he was like, do you like the album, the EP? And I'm like, I'm only 2/3 of the way through it because I didn't know it was just 5 songs. I thought it was 8. And so, Zane, I did like it, and I did hear it all.
We just wanted 3 more.
Yeah. You left me wanting more. That's a good sign. Listen to Dixon's album, Best Worst Year Ever. I'm on the intro, which I do not care for, but that album is dope as shit. Probably my favorite album in all of music that was released last year. Yeah, support local comedy and local artists, I guess. Oh, I got shows coming up at
what do you got?
The Shoebox Theater starting the 27th of January and being approximately every 2 weeks, and they're in preparation for an album recording that I'm doing in Philadelphia in April.
Ooh.
So, yeah, there's like the practice run for the album. So
new material, or are you gonna kind of siphon through your old stuff and put something together? Or?
It's so the way it works, it's like a no-name comic record deal type thing. If I were a musician, I'd be giving them the masters for these jokes, basically. So once I give them these jokes, they can't be in any other media. I can't try to get on a show with it or anything, and that's also why a bunch of my YouTube content's gonna come down. But it's fine, because I'm done with the jokes. So I'm like building this Venn diagram of like stuff I'm willing to put out, stuff that I'm tired of doing or I'm willing to let go of forever. And then also it has to match with stuff I don't want to use elsewhere. It's going to be a half-hour album, and I'm going to perfect that. I rented out this little theater space with 40 people.
Wow.
And I'd love to not take a bath on it, but even if I do, the practice is the most important part, because if this thing sucks, I'm going to be very unhappy for a very long time.
That's next level for you to take it to this. That's huge, man.
No,
I mean, that's big.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thanks for doing it so far, making our town look great too, so I appreciate you.
Yeah, Gresham, Art Real Town.
Yeah, Rockwood Reborn, baby. Yeah, look out now.
Man, behind the scenes question. You gonna have the album on vinyl?
Ooh. I'm gonna try to get some of them. Okay. So
pressed on vinyl, that's a great idea.
Cause especially like, so Helium, the club here, they're a national chain, and they started a label. It's under their label as well, and their idea for doing it is to, and it's smart to try to blow us up a little bit, then we can perform at their clubs, and that money just cycles from their pocket back into their pocket. And if they're gonna have me tour in their clubs, I would love to have vinyl to press and sell. Also, me on a vinyl, like y'all were talking earlier on camera about how like I heard you in another interview saying like the CD was making it. And it would be trip to behold a vinyl album that is...
That's how I think of comedy albums, my early stuff that I listened to, the Carlins, sneaking into my dad's record collection and digging out the Carlin record and knowing you're not supposed to listen to it,
My friend Curtis collects comedy albums, and he says it's both equal parts satisfying and pretty easy because, that's not the crates that are getting dug by everyone that's big into wax.
What's his name?
Curtis Cook. He's an absolute killer.
Yeah, shouts out to Curtis.
Yeah,
let's link Curtis. I think we have a little something in common.
Hey, Bo Rock's behind the scene question. Last question.
Bo's, he got another
question. Is this tire swing in use, baby?
Is the tire swing?
You want to give it a shot?
Boski said he was going to try the tire swing.
Again, I'm pretty sure I exceed the weight limit on it.
Well, let's see if Boski does.
I trust Boski with it though. He seems.
I don't know.
Shake it out. Don't.
I'm prepared for Oregon weather.
Boski's from the South. That is an interesting technique.
Let's see. Yeah, I need the legs go up. Hey, as long as the legs went up, you know it's in use, baby.
That's a half second. That counts. The judges
that.
will score that. Albeit low, but they'll score it.
You know what I mean?
Thanks again for your time,
Oh,
Adam. I really appreciate you very much for joining the show. If there's anything I can do for you in the future, just tap in, let me know. I'd love to help you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pleasure. I love this show. I'm gonna watch it regardless of you having me on it. And I'll probably watch this back and hate it, so.